If we want our private sector engagement to be effective and impactful, what are the things, what are the key components that we must have in our intervention? That's the topic I'm exploring today. Hello, welcome to today's episode. And in today's episode, what I thought I would do is just to run through 7 critical components of private sector engagement interventions. These are things that I feel must be included in any private sector engagement so it is impactful and effective. So the first of those may not come as a surprise to most of us. And that's market systems assessment. And in market systems assessment, there are 3 key components that I think we must have. So that's market structure analysis. So that's essentially identifying the players, the roles that they play, and the interactions between these players. The other part of that is supply and demand dynamics. So the supply side capabilities and the key factors that drive the demand in this market assessment. Obviously, we need to consider market failures. So what are the systemic constraints that we have in this market? The second component of private sector and effective private sector engagement is stakeholder mapping. So we need to really identify the key influencers in the market system. So those are actors that have great sway in the market systems. So the partnership firm capabilities and needs. So obviously, because this is private sector engagement, we want to identify a particular partner that we will do this intervention with. So we need to explore the firm's capabilities and the potential support that they may need in order to deliver our intervention. And the other part of stakeholder mapping is partnership readiness. So we need to be very sure that the partner we have identified is ready, is willing to join us in this intervention. The third component that I think is really important is regulatory environment. That means assessing the regulatory environment. We need to do a particular regulatory analysis of the market systems. What are those regulations that really impact either negatively or positively the market systems? We need to really explore those. And that may lead us in advocating for better operating environment for private sector in this market system. And as part of that, we should consider doing public-private dialogues where we facilitate the discussions about policy and the regulatory environment between the government and the private sector. The fourth is value proposition. This is very important, especially when we're engaging with a particular private sector actor. We need to be able to align our developmental need with the business interest of our partner. So whether it's increasing market size, whether it's increasing in market entry, or whatever it is, we have to be able to align interest with the private sector interest. And obviously the incentive analysis, that means that what are the things that are driving or that potentially will drive the private sector actor to join us in this intervention. So it may be supply side extension, it may be supply chain extension, it may be efficiency around operations, it may be market share. Whatever it is, we need to identify those and do a proper analysis of it. Risk and benefit sharing. So risk sharing particularly is the modalities we generally use to engage private sector. So either we're co-investing or we're providing technical support, whatever it is that reduces the risk and incentivizes the private sector actor to join us in the intervention. The fifth is the partnership model. So we need to be very clear on the sort of partnership models that we want to pursue, and that's in terms of partnership modalities. So whether it's a joint venture, grant, whether it's some sort of alliances and impact investment, whatever it is that the partnership modalities, we have to be very clear. We have to spell this out and make sure that the partner is very clear. Multi-stakeholder collaboration, that's another type of modalities that we really need to be clear on when we're doing private sector engagement, whether or not we are going to have all of these other stakeholders, the civil society, government, business membership organizations, whether we're going to have all of those people to as part of the private sector engagement interventions that we're doing. Exit strategy. This is very, very important. And that's that we need to know our exit before we enter into any agreement or begin to do private sector engagement. It's important for us to be very clear whether we're going to gradually reduce our support or we have a timeline for support to drop off. The sixth is risk analysis and mitigation. Obviously, there's a lot of risk for the private sector and for the development program. So those risks can vary from sort of government instability, social unrest, all sorts of risk that may impact the market, may impact the intervention. We need to be very clear on those things and then spell out exactly what our mitigation strategies will be for those things. And how do we share this risk with private sector and the private sector actor we want to partner with? That's especially important because that will form part of the interest or incentive for the private sector to join us and be sold on the intervention we're planning. And the seventh is impact measurement. Obviously, we have to be pushing inclusive business models. This are business model with a private sector actor or private sector partner that will include our primary clients, and that's our beneficiaries and intervention participants. We need to think in terms of environmental sustainability and monitoring and evaluation. I mean, I cannot speak enough of this. This is particularly important for us to be able to track indicators so we can test our hypothesis, whether or not our hypothesis is moving in the right direction. And more importantly, we can learn lessons and maybe adapt the intervention as we go on. So these are the seven key components that I think are very important for us to have if we want our private sector engagement intervention to be impactful. I'm sure there are a whole lot more that you can add. I know at least 5 more critical components, but I'll stop here and hope that you can add your own to the list in the comment section below. So thank you very much for watching and see you next time.